Number 1 says I am a 5-digit number. So right away we know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My 5 is worth 5 times 10,000. So we know 5 times 1 is 5. With 4 zeros is 50,000. Therefore, if we look here, that's the 10,000ths place. We put our 5. B says one of my 3's is worth 30. So if we look, 30, the 3 is in the 10 spot. We put that right there. Then the other is 10 times as much. So 30 times 10. Again, ignore those zeros. 3 times 1 is 3. Add those 2 zeros back is 300. So we put another 3 in the 100 spot. My 6 is worth 6,000. So if we look here, there's our 1,000th spot. And the other digit is a 9. So the last one is the ones. Your answer is 56,339. Number 2 says I am a 7-digit number. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One of my 8's is worth 800,000. So if you look at the 800,000, the 8 is in the 100,000s place, which is right here. The other is 1/10 as much. So if you look at 800,000, if you do 1/10, means you just take away 1 0. So it's 80,000. So the other 8 goes in the 10,000s place. My 7 is worth 700s. So here's again our 1s, 10s, 100s. So we put the 7 there. My 5 is worth 50, which is in the 10s place. All the other digits are 0. So those blanks are all 0. Your answer is 880,750. Number 3 says Susie collects box tops for her school. Once she has 2,000, then she can turn them into the school for money. She has 5 bags, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with 350 in each bag. So if you look, you can either do repeated addition or you can do multiplication. Multiplication is always faster. So 5 times 0, 0. 5 times 5, 25. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17. So Susie has 1,750 box tops. She needs 2,000, remember, to turn in, so as of now, she does not have enough money. Make sure you explain that. B says, did you find the exact answer to solve the problem? Explain why or why not. We did find the exact answer. We took 350 and we multiplied it by 5, which got us the 1,750, and therefore we know we do not have enough box tops. Number 4 says complete the table. So this column here is standard notation. That's how we normally write numbers. This column here is products of 10, which as you see is how many times you would have to multiply 10 to get the number in standard notation. And then the last column is how you would write it in exponential notation. So the first one we have 100. So what do you multiply 10 by to get 100? It's just 10 times 10. Exponential notation means your base is going to be 10, and then the number of zeros is your exponent. So since there are 2 zeros in 100, it would be 10 to the second. For the second row, 10 times 10 times 10 is the information we have. If we do 10 times 10, it's 100, times 10 is 1,000. So that would be our number in standard notation. Exponential notation, again, your base is going to be 10, and then you look at the zeros. You have 1, 2, 3 zeros, so it would be 10 to the third. For the third row, you have 10,000. So again, 10 times 10 is 100, times 10 is 1,000 times 10 would be 10,000. Every time you multiply by 10, you just add another 0. So your exponential notation, again, would be 10 as the base. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, so it would be 10 to the 4th. The last row, the bottom row, we have 10 to the 8th given to us, which means we would have a 1 with 8 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It also means we would have to multiply 10 8 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Number 5 says Sarah and Kate were playing high number toss. They created the numbers shown below. Write each player's number in standard notation. Again, remember, standard notation is how you normally see the numbers. So if we want to write it in standard notation for Kate, we would start with the 457. Since it's times 10 to the second, we know there are 2 zeros. Therefore, Kate's number is 45,700. Sarah has 125 times 10 to the 4th. So we start by rewriting the 125, and then we add 4 zeros, since that is our exponent. So Sarah's answer is 1,250,000. For number 6, it wants you to explain how you wrote them. So you would explain how you take the number 457 or 125, and then you add the amount of zeros that is in the exponent. Number 7 says write the number 4,564,782 in expanded form. So first, we look just at our 4. So our 4 is in the million spot, so we have 4 millions. So 4 times 1 million. And again, we put that in our parentheses. Then we move on to the 5. That's in the 100,000 spot, so we have 500,000. So it would be 5 times 100,000. Put your parentheses. Move on to the 6, which is in the 10,000s, which means we have 6 10,000s. So 6 times 10,000. Move on to the 4, which is in the thousands place. So we have 4 thousands, or 4 times 1,000, plus, now move on to our 7, which is in our hundreds, therefore we have 7 hundreds, or 7 times 100. The 8 is in the tens, so 8 times 10. And lastly, the 2, which would be 2 times 1. Number 8 says convert the yards into feet. So 1 yard equals 3 feet. Therefore, 2 yards would be 2 times 3, which is 6. 5 yards would be 5 times 3, which is 15. 10 yards would be 10 times 3, which is 30. And 12 would be 12 times 3, which is 36. Number 9 says write an expression with grouping symbols, which means parentheses, to model the number story and then solve. Stephanie is measuring the length of a classroom. It is 5 yards and 2 feet. What is the total length of the classroom in feet? So the very first thing we have to do is convert 5 yards into feet. We know 1 yard equals 3 feet. Therefore, 5 yards would equal what feet? So if 1 yard is 3 feet, we would have to do 5 times 3 to get how many feet it is, which would be 15. Then we would have to add on that extra 2 feet. Since we have to do 5 times 3 first, we would put that in parentheses and then add the 2. So again, 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 would be 17 Number 9 says create a mathematical model for the problem. That means a picture. Then solve the problem and show your work and explain what you decided to do with the remainder. So Henry is helping out a school library and he needs to figure out how many shelves the library staff should order for a new reading corner. There are 423 books. Each shelf holds 50 books, and the librarian wants to put all of the books on shelves. How many shelves does she need to order? Okay, so each shelf holds 50. So let's start. Here's 50. Here's 50. That would be 100. Plus 50 more, 150. Plus 50 more, 200. Plus 50 more, 250. 50 more is 300. 50 more is 350. 50 more is 400. And then I look, 423, if I added 50 more, that would be too much. So then the last shelf would only have 23 books. So your quotient is how many shelves you have that have 50 books. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I could have 8 shelves. My remainder would be 23 because I would have 23 books left over. So again, what does the remainder represent? This represents the 23 books you would have left over after putting 50 on each shelf. So then it wants to know how many shelves the library would order. Well, we know she needs to order at least 8, but she wants to put all the books on the shelf. So if she wants to put these extra 23 books on the shelf, she would have to order 9 shelves total. Then it says circle what you do with the remainder. We've rounded it up to 9. Why? Because we don't want the books all over the floor. So she wants to make sure that those last books are on a shelf. Number 10 first wants you to estimate. So if I were estimating, I would just do 372 times 10. I would round 8 up to 10, and anything multiplied by 10 is pretty easy. So my estimate would be 372, then add that 1 0, 3,720. Then it wants you to actually solve. So 8 times 2 is 16, carry the 1. 8 times 7 is 56, plus 1, 57, carry the 5. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 5 is 29. The answer is 2,976. Number 11 has 62 times 12. So first you estimate. I would round 62 down to 60. Then I would round 12 to 10. Take those zeros away. 6 times 1, 6. Add the 2 zeros. My estimate would be about 600. Then it wants you to actually solve. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 6, 12. Since we're moving on to the tens place, we have to put our 0. 1 times 2, 2. 1 times 6, 6. Add together, 4, 4, 7. Your answer would be 744. For number 12, you have 702 divided by 3. So I would round 702 to 700, and I would keep 3 at 3. 3 goes into 7 2 times. 3 goes into 10 3 times, which is 9. 3 times, about 233. Now we're going to actually solve. 3 goes into 7 2 times. Then we multiply. 2 times 3 is 6. Then we subtract. Then we bring down. Now we divide again. 3 goes into 10 3 times. Multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract. Bring down. 3 goes into 12 4 times. 3 times 4 is 12. Subtract 0. So it's 234, remainder 0. Number 13 is 578 divided by 25. I'm going to round 578 to 600. And I'm going to leave 25 the same. 25 goes into 100 4 times. So it would go into 600 about 24 times. Now it wants you to actually solve. So we're going to do 5, 78, 25. So first 25 can't go into 5. So we have to go all the way into 57. I know 25 times 2 is 50, so it probably goes in 2 times. Then we multiply. 2 times 25 is 50. Subtract. Bring down. 25 goes into 78. I know 25 times 3 is 75, so about 3 times. 3 times 25, 75. Subtract. I have nothing left to bring down, therefore it's 23, remainder 3.